How good is Christian Encarnacion-Strand? Logan Allen came back and dominated. Join us today where we provide you with the best must-add players heading into this weekend on today's action-packed episode of Locked On Fantasy Baseball.
You are Locked On Fantasy Baseball, your daily fantasy baseball podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, fantasy baseball fanatics, and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Baseball podcast, brought to you by the Locked On Sports Network, your team every day. As always, we're your number one source of fantasy baseball knowledge, and thank you for making us your first listen each and every day. I'm your host, Dominic Martino. You can find me on Twitter at DomMartinoFB. Here, as always, with my brother, my co-host, my partner in crime, Matthew Ane, and you can find him on Twitter at Matthew_Ane. If you're listening on a platform like Apple or Spotify that allows 5-star ratings and reviews, we would truly appreciate it if you could do that for us. Also, if you're watching on YouTube and you haven't already, hit the little bell below. It subscribes you to the channel, also gives you a notification every time we drop a new episode. And lastly, but most importantly, join us on the Subtext website. Our Subtext campaign offers you a one-on-one, in-depth, personalized experience through texting with Matt and myself. Always here to talk fantasy baseball. You get updates on prospect call-ups, injury alerts, and much, much more that we can't provide in only 30 minutes on this podcast. But as always, Locked On Fantasy Baseball fans, we have a fully loaded episode for you today. Let us be your team secret weapon as we provide you with the best must-add players heading into this weekend. And Matt, he finally got the call. He's here. Let's talk about it.
All right, let's talk about Mr. Christian Encarnacion-Strand. All right, this guy has just been I would say the biggest tease ever, because you don't know when this kid was going to come up. They like tickle you a little bit. They like kiss on your neck, and they leave you with a little blue. And, it's just not great. But now he's finally up. And so far, he's doing his thing. Already has a bomb. Already has a run. Has 3 ribs. And he's batting about 333. Like, let's go. And if you're not familiar with this kid, let me just review real quick for you, just so you're aware. So this year in the minors, this kid had 278 at-bats, 65 runs, 21 doubles, 2 triples, 20 bomb skis, 62 ribs, 2 stolen bases, and batting 331 with an OPS of 1042. The kid is an absolute slugger. Literally is the epitome of a slugger. Honestly, the scary thing is his upside is Nolan Arenado. I think that's the best way I can comp him. His floor, I think, is anybody disappointing any disappointing prospect. But let's put it that way. But I think Encarnacion-Strand is going to come up and translate just like Ellie did. And we're going to see something great. The kid has 6 at-bats here. He has a bomb and 3 ribs. Like, let's go. I think he's going to be one that is going to be at this big body boy here. I should say man at 6 foot, 224 pounds. I think is going to have a great career.
Yeah, Matt, great take. And, you read off his minor league stats from this year, but how about last year what Christian Encarnacion-Strand did? He actually has the longest last name in baseball history from what I saw. And so we'll shorten it up. We'll call him CES. That's what I've heard other, people call him. That's what I think the nickname is going to be for Encarnacion-Strand. So we'll call him CES. So CES in 2022 in the minors, 122 games, 484 at-bats, 76 runs, 31 doubles, 5 triples, 32 bombs, 114 RBIs, 8 steals, 304 batting average. He's always hit over 300 in his whole minor league career, and Matt mentioned his stats so far, and he's even 1-for-1 already today, so he's just adding to his promising start. Encarnacion-Strand is up to 60% owned. He literally got called up, I think, an hour or 2 after we did our podcast on, what was it, Matt, Monday? So, I mean, if you were a member of the Diamond Club, you heard about it there. We spoke about it there, but we're talking about it now. He's 60% owned. Must add if he's still on your roster. Make the room for it. Join the Diamond Club. Ask us, hey, who should I drop for Encarnacion-Strand? And we'll let you know. But let's keep things moving here, and let's talk about real quick. Hold on one second. Let's talk about Spencer Torkelson. So with Spencer Torkelson, man, this kid, he's rocking and rolling, dude. He's finally arrived. And if we talked about him, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago. So if you picked him up and listened to us when we talked about him, then he's on your team already, and you don't have to fight for him. Even though he's only 28% owned at the moment, he was one of the top prospects in the MLB as little as 2 years ago. Right now, look, he went 3 for 5 on July 18th with 2 bombs, 5 RBIs. I think the time is coming. He's got plus power, not really much of a speed guy, but I really think Torkelson, batting third in that Detroit lineup with Riley Green and a couple of other good guys there. I think he can have a big impact here in the second half. The last 2 weeks, Torkelson has 8 runs, 2 bombs, 9 RBIs, 293 batting average. It's really the sky is the limit here for the young Torkelson. I truly think he's going to, come into his own over the next couple of years here. Pick up Spencer Torkelson now.
Yeah, buddy. I like Mr. Spencer Torkelson. Only sad part is my guy is on Detroit. So, I mean, that's the only part that I'm really upset about. But it is what it is. Let's move on here. Let's talk about Mr. Edouard Julian. If you were a Diamond Club member, he was actually one of the bonus names a few weeks ago. Julian has been performing, and quite honestly, I've been thoroughly enjoying and considering picking him up myself. Julian was one of Dom's favorite players coming into the year in terms of prospects.
Yes, sir.
For some reason, I can't find. Here we go. I just spelled his name wrong. At least I can pronounce it. So Edouard Julian in the last week has been pretty nice. Through 13 at bats, 5 runs, a bomb, 2 ribs, a stolen base bat, and a whopping 692. Through 2 weeks, it's been 8, 3, 5, 1, 583. Like, you know what? He's having a really, really solid couple weeks here since he got the call. And I really just like Edouard Julian in general, top end prospect, in my opinion. We'll see what he can bring at the second base position. I really like his upside. Let's go.
Yeah, Julian's got plus speed, plus power. The hit tool is great. He's just a really solid hitter. Matt wanted to talk about comps. A comp for Julian, and maybe I'm overshooting it a little bit here. He's not a big guy, but maybe like a Jose Altuve-ish, where what he's been more recently in his career, not a crazy amount of speed, but still has he could still steal some bags. And eventually I could see this kid getting up to 25 plus homers with a good batting average, because he's always, hit for a pretty solid batting average. Still only 24 years old. And what I like about Julian is that, he adjusted back. He came up, he was doing his thing a little bit. Then, the big league pitchers figured him out. After that, he got sent back down for a little bit, came back up, and he readjusted to big league pitching with that over 300 batting average so far through 47 games, 146 at-bats, 24 runs, 11 doubles, 8 homers, 15 RBIs, and only 2 steals. So the kid hasn't even really started running yet. Julian is 13% owned on Yahoo, and as a second baseman, potentially the best hitter on the Twins at the moment, batting second. Definitely worth an ad for Edouard Julian. But before we move on and talk about a former number 1 pick, Matt's boy that Matt told you guys to add him. I was a little speculative, I'll be honest, but Matt told y'all to add him, and if you did, it paid off big time. And then we have a big arm from the Marlins that Matt and I both love. We talked about it a lot in draft season. But real quick, let's talk about our sponsor, eBay Motors. For a championship team, it's all about making sure every player is a perfect fit. It's the same when it comes to your vehicle. Every part needs to fit just right. So the next time you need parts and accessories, head to eBay Motors with eBay Guaranteed Fit. You can be sure every part you need fits right the first time around. Just add your ride to My Garage and look for the green check to know the part will fit or your money back. Because just like in sports, confidence is the name of the game when you shop on eBay Motors. And with over 122 million parts to choose from, you'll be back in the game in no time. After all, it's easy to bring home a win when the right parts are guaranteed. Get the right parts, the right fit, and the right prices on ebaymotors.com. Let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions do apply. And real quick, dear everydayers and new listeners, we have an incredible opportunity for you to support the show and enjoy some fantastic perks along the way. Introducing our Diamond Club on the Subtext website. By becoming a member, you not only contribute to the show's success, but also gain access to exclusive benefits, get your hands on waiver wire pickups, call-up alerts, injury updates, instant reactions, and enjoy direct access for all your burning fantasy baseball questions. Plus, you can try it out completely free for 14 days. Your support means the world to Matt and I, and we can't wait to connect with you on this exciting journey. Join our Diamond Club on the Subtext website today, and let's take your fantasy baseball experience to new, unprecedented heights. All right, where are we, Matt? You want to grab this next guy? You want to pop off on him?
Yeah, sure. I also I'm going to throw this out there. In the next month or so, if you sign up for the Subtext, we're going to give away our first, what do you call it? Sorry. First, Matt spit this out. Oh, God.
That's just so exciting, guys. Like, he's not ready for you guys to hear what he's about to say.
Sorry.
That's how exciting it is.
Yes. First podcast league spot for next year. So if you sign up between now or already have, you're going to be entered in to join the podcast league next year. Sorry. Tongue twister. This is the problem having a 2-year-old. She just gets me sometimes and I'm mentally drained. But, sign up. Let's get that first spot in the podcast league for next year. But, all right, let's talk about this next guy here. So about Mr. Mickey Moniak. See, I can't talk today at all. How you doing? All right. So Mickey Moniak. Oh, wow. Phone died. That's even better.
So yeah, you got it. Come on, brother. You got it.
Mickey Moniak here has started off hot this year when he got his call up this year. Wow, internet don't like me. This is a great day. I feel like Dom and I'm on those McDonald's, the McDonald's freaking Wi-Fi. What the hell?
Now I'll jump in.
Thank you.
Let me
Thank you. I don't know what's going on.
Mickey Moniak, former number 1 pick. He's been on a tear this season, finally living up to the hype. 24 runs, 11 bombs, 32 RBIs, 3 steals with a 336 batting average. And for all those in OPS leagues, a 1,014 OPS. So he's just been absolutely dominant. He's been hitting 4th in that Angels lineup. Just wait till Mike Trout gets back. And really, the sky is the limit for Moniak. I truly, truly think at 41% owned on Yahoo, he's under-owned. Let me see if I could do his last 14 days here and just narrow it down and show you how like on fire the kid's actually been. Last 14 days, 6 runs, 2 homers, 7 RBIs, a steal, 441 batting average, and that's only in 34 at-bats. So Mickey Moniak really, really has potential here to, come out and live up to that, former number 1 pick with the Phillies. He's still only 25 years old. Listen, I hate to sound like a broken record. I know I say this a lot, but we were spoiled with Acuna, Tatis, and Soto, those guys that just come up and translate instantly. Sometimes it takes a few years. Baseball is one of the hardest sports. It's the only time in the world where you can go 30% and be literally the best at what you do. I'm talking about as far as batting average, if you hit every 3 out of 10, you bat 300, you're one of the best players in the league, and that's really the only time that in any job where you can execute at that rate and be one of the best. But Matt, you ready to hop back in and give some love to your former Philly?
Yeah, I mean, quite honestly, like, I understand the hype and I understand, what he is. I don't really understand what his ceiling is or pretty much what I think his ceiling can be, because there's a wide range of possibilities, essentially. I'm not like the biggest fan, but I'm intrigued to see what he's going to do. So, I mean, you can pick him up and ride the wave while it is, but I have somebody better for you coming up, and that's Mr. Chas McCormick.
I don't mean to cut you off, but Chas McCormick over Mickey Moniak?
Yeah, bro.
All right. Okay.
Bro, he's been having a monster couple of weeks.
Yeah,
this week alone is just ridiculous. And today he already hit a bomb, I might add.
Okay.
So after today, he's going to have 9 runs, 4 bombs, 8 ribs, and he's batting like almost 600. Like, Chas has just been on fire. I think that right now, we're riding the wave, and we're going to see who's going to flare out and who's going to have the better upside. I'm going to go with Chas right now and just ride the hot hand. Moniak, like I said, he already kind of like cooled off, and now he's heating up again. Let's see how long it lasts. I mean, it's the same thing with McCormick. What's going to be the difference here? I just think that McCormick is on a better team with better pieces around him. That Astros team is just really good. So there's going to be more opportunities for counting stats being brought home. Ribbies. Obviously, he can hit a home run because, I mean, He's been doing it all week, and he's batting average out is great. So, I mean, the upside for him is a lot higher than Moniak, in my opinion, especially without, Trout in the lineup. God, today is just one of those days. But all right, Dom, go ahead.
Yeah, not that I don't like Chas McCormick, but Mickey Moniak just I'm probably thinking more long term here. I'll be honest with you. Maybe for at least the next couple of weeks, next month, maybe even till the end of the year, maybe I'll take McCormick. But I think if we're talking about long term, like a keeper or a dynasty type format, I think Mickey Moniak just really, really has a lot of upside. As there's a reason the kid was the former number one pick. But McCormick, as you mentioned, numbers look good. Matt gave you kind of like some of the recent stats. I'll give you the overall year for McCormick. It's been 189 bats, 29 runs, 11 homers, 33 RBIs, 9 steals, 280 batting average. Yeah, he does have potential for better, counting stats probably, but he's been hitting anywhere between like 5th and 8th in the lineup. So it really kind of depends where they're slotting him in at. And honestly, the Astros haven't really been as great as, they were the last 2 or 3 years. McCormick never really has shown anything in the bigs yet. He really, kind of just has been mediocre, career 257 guy over 3 seasons, including this one. He's got some pop, little bit of speed. I guess the speed is up this year because of the bigger bases. Almost everyone is stealing bases. And just at 28 years old, I don't know how much I'm buying into the breakout, rather where, Mickey Moniak is 25. But you know what, guys, to each his own. If you're a believer in what Matt's preaching, go McCormick. If you're a believer in what I'm preaching, go Moniak. But, Matt, you know what? I got to give it to you, bro. I'm not even going to start with this next guy. I want to pass it off to you because, honestly, you deserve all the credit for still believing when I was kind of on the fence about this next guy. So, Matt, go ahead, my brother.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Logan Allen, now that I'm not tongue-tied.
Now he's excited. Look, Matt's all excited now.
Yeah, I got a little fantasy Woody here. Logan Allen, after being sent down for, of course, for the innings limit to help teeter that off and for him not to exceed, I guess, where they think he should pitch, the amount of innings, I guess, is what I'm saying. My guy is now back up in the league and first start out. I guess it's against Pittsburgh. So, pretty much Dom and I could go out there and probably pitch a great game too. But Logan Allen has showed off 5 innings, 8 Ks, no earned runs, a .4 whip, looking solid. 5 innings. I'm hoping he can get to more 6-7 to get me more of those QSs, quality starts, for people who don't know the little, abbreviation. I think Logan Allen has plenty of upside to do the K per 9, to have, a mid to higher 3 ERA. The whip is going to be, fluctuating between whether he's going to destroy your whip category or, be really successful in that category because the control is not 100% there. But, that's volatile with a young pitcher just to begin with, but I love him in general. I think Logan Allen is a must-add at 25% owned. If he's out there, go scoop him up because fantasy pitching landscape has just been atrocious, and he is a must-add, and by all means.
Yeah, Matt, I'm on board with you. I got like a foot and like half my body. I've grabbed on to the back of the train before it takes off. So I'm there with you. I might need you to pull me on board. I might need you to say, Dom, I got you. And then you just pull me on and then I'm on the bandwagon. And then, then we're there. But I'm really liking what I saw from Logan Allen this time out. Matt read you off the numbers there against Pittsburgh. And guess what? Even if you're not a believer at 25% owned, you at least take the chance on Logan Allen going into his next start, which is against Kansas City. If he can get past the hot Bobby Witt, that's all he needs to do. And then the rest of that lineup is pretty much easy as cake. Salvador Perez has been banged up, and he's really the only other real true threat in that lineup. But you know what? The big thing that really impressed me with Logan Allen in this last start was 1 walk. He's had a little bit of trouble with the walks and giving up hits, and, he really, really controlled that in this outing against Pittsburgh. And he's got upside. He's well over that K per 9. The 3.21 ERA is super impressive. It's just the whip. The 1.37 whip is the only thing that's throwing me off. And then in Cleveland, he might not win a lot of games, but he's going to go out there and contribute. He's going to go out there and help your fantasy baseball team at 24 years old. I really like what Logan Allen has shown so far in his big league career. Let's move on, though, to somebody with a bigger arm than Logan Allen, and I honestly would argue more upside. Edouard Cabrera of the Marlins. This guy battling injuries all year, battling himself with another guy with a little bit of a control issue here. But you know what? Edouard Cabrera comes out against the St. Louis Cardinals, which, aren't one of the best teams this year. But hey, you know what? If you can still get through that lineup on a daily basis, that is, a tough lineup on any given day. So 5 innings for Edouard Cabrera, 6 strikeouts. He gave up a run and a 1 whip. I love the controls looking better. The strikeouts are always going to be there with Edouard Cabrera. He's got 72 innings pitched, 90 Ks on the year. He goes out against Colorado next time. 48% owned for Edouard Cabrera, so at least pick him up, go against Colorado. Colorado's kind of a mediocre team, pretty easy to handle, especially when they're not in cores. And Edouard Cabrera's got velocity. He's got good breaking stuff. So, I mean, really, if once this kid takes off, that's going to be it. And it may not be for the rest of this year. Maybe next year is his real true breakout year, but I know it's coming. I feel it. I feel the Edouard Cabrera breakout coming within the next couple of years. Miami's always been good with pitchers, and just Edouard Cabrera's got truly tremendous upside if he can really figure it out.
Yeah, you know what, we've been talking about stashing him for a while, so might as well see it and try and deal with the ebbs and flows in the matchups. But before we move on, and we talk about a Yankee pitcher that has been so hot and cold and has been more of a matchup play than anything else. And 2 other pitchers that I feel really need to be mentioned. We have a break coming up. And we are back. All right, guys. So I promised you a Yankee pitcher, and we're going to talk about one. It's Clarke Schmidt. Clarke Schmidt has been so up and down. He really hasn't been my favorite to roll out against tough matchups. Got lit up against Baltimore at the beginning of the month on the 4th. And then goes out against Chicago, only gets 2 innings. Really wasn't my favorite thing to see. And then pitched really well at Colorado in Coors Stadium. So, has 8 Ks, got the W, went 6 innings deep, and only, gave up about three runs. So good for him. But now he's going up against Kansas City. And Kansas City, everybody but Bobby Witt. For the same reason, we're going ahead and say go pick up Logan Allen if you're not a true believer just for this start. It's the same reason for Schmidt. Schmidt has good stuff, but he's just not consistent enough for me to roll him out on every matchup like Allen. So for this matchup, I feel confident enough to roll him out and see what happens. So definitely, consider playing Clarke Schmidt at least for the week. Plays him on the 21st, which would be Friday.
Yeah, Matt, I like Clarke Schmidt. Last year, most of his games came out of the bullpen, and Clarke Schmidt threw a 3.12 ERA, 29 games, 57 innings, 56 strikeouts, and he had a 1.19 whip. I really thought we would see more of that, but sometimes when you're transitioning from a reliever to a starter, it's not an easy thing to do. Matt mentioned that last start in Coors Field, 6 innings, 8 Ks, 2 runs, 0.67 whip. He got the quality start. Looks like he's on to something here. 24% owned for the young Clarke Schmidt. Honestly, you throw him out there against Kansas City. If he does good, you maybe keep him rolling if the next start is an easier matchup too. But hey, you know what? You could always pitch a ditch with Clarke Schmidt and just see where the thing goes. But he does have pretty good upside. Let's move on to somebody that actually pitched great against our Yankees the other night, and it's Patrick Sandoval. Sandoval's kind of just been up and down this year, and, his career has just kind of been up and down in general. The guy's got solid stuff, but, against the Yankees, I believe he got like 17 swings and misses in that game, which is a very, very impressive stat. It's not easy to get that many guys that many swings and misses in a start. 7.1 innings for Sandoval against the Yankees. He got the win, 7 strikeouts, 1 earned run, 0.68 whip, quality start. His numbers on the year aren't very impressive, but you know what? The waiver wire is a little thin at the moment, so we're at least going to throw you guys that you can go out and pitch in their next start because, Patrick Sandoval goes against Detroit. Great stadium to pitch in, good team to pitch against on July 26th. So at minimum, 39% owned Patrick Sandoval is worth picking up for his next start just to see where things go because he has shown some potential and upside in his career. I just think, and coming off this great start, it's worth to at least see where the thing goes with the kid.
Yeah, buddy, completely agree. Don't need to even give another word about it. Let's talk about our last guy here. Mr. Kyle Finnegan, we have a closer for you. And with Mr. Hunter Harvey going down with the elbow on the IL, Finnegan is now stepping into the closer role for the short time. So Finnegan was successful in the beginning of the year when he did have the role full time and then somehow lost it, which is unfortunate. And, he has 12 saves on the season, so he has been steady in those high leverage situations. So let's hope and see what he can do, because he's at a K per 9 with a 3.32 ERA. So I like the upside all around. He has all the makings of a top closer just based off the K per 9 rate and the save opportunity, except for the fact it's on the Nationals. So if he's knocking in about 1.5 a week in save category and not blowing up your ERA and getting you a K per 9, you're happy, or even multiple Ks in a single inning. You're really happy with him in the short time while he still has to roll. So we'll see what happens at 44% owned.
Yeah, it's so funny because I feel like we talked about Kyle Finnegan so much last year when, he had the role pretty much full time. And he was serviceable, man. Like, what you said, yeah, it's the Nationals, but what's funny? The games that the Nationals do win are going to be close games. They're not blowing people out. Maybe every 2 weeks, but they're not blowing people out. And in his career, Kyle Finnegan serviceable, a career 3.41 ERA in 197 games, 198 innings, 205 strikeouts. The whip is a little high at a 1.31, but you're not picking Kyle Finnegan up expecting him to be your top closer. If you get him as your third, fourth closer, you're going to be fine. He had 11 saves last year, already 12 saves this year. I think the potential is that Finnegan could run away with this role with Harvey going down. I think that's very, very possible. 41% owned for Finnegan. So go out there and add him if you're desperate. You need a closer, in one of those NL only or 15-man leagues. I think Finnegan is definitely worth the add if he's still out there in those kinds of leagues. But guys, we're actually made time today, so just real quick while we got a second here, I just want to thank all of our subtext, subscribers. I know they're enjoying it. I know we're enjoying it. Getting to know everybody's been a great time. We're providing a lot of useful information on there. As I mentioned earlier, you're getting prospect alerts as soon as they get called up. If you have been there's been a lot of great prospects that have been called up recently. We've been alerting you with all of them, in-depth, rankings for waiver wire episodes such as this one. And it's just truly been a great experience, as I mentioned, getting to know everybody. So join us on Subtext today. Link is in, this episode, wherever you're listening. It's in our link trees on all of our socials. If you got any questions, just DM us about Subtext. Matt, why don't you hop on in here real quick?
And don't forget to mention, if you sign up over the next month, you're getting a podcast spot in the league, podcast league spot. One of the 4 we're going to give away from signing up to Subtext over from now to the start of the season. So, let's get in there. Let's see if we can get somebody to come join us and actually have direct access to us and see what you got. See if you could beat us.
Yes, yeah, guys, come on, see if you can take us out. And Matt and I are, not to toot our own horns, but we're doing pretty good in fantasy this year. I've been calling Matt number 2. Matt's been in second in a couple of our leagues while I'm in first. So if you've seen Austin Powers, you get the reference. But guys, that is all for us today. Please be sure to like, subscribe, comment, rate, and review. Also to our everydayers and new listeners, thank you for making Locked On Fantasy Baseball your first listen each and every day. Make sure you lock on for a new episode tomorrow. We're going to be talking about trade deadline speculation. Kind of give you guys where we think guys are going, what their upside might be with these new teams that they're going to head to. So you're going to want to make sure you lock on for that one. But guys, until tomorrow,
peace.